Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but a means to have something playing while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy having something on while you work, sometimes the content you like is very visually engaging and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your project as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. It is Friday! Yay! I have the day off. We are observing Independence Day here in America at my company on Friday because tomorrow it is the day, July 4th. So this is July 3rd, if you didn't figure that one out. It is a little bit afternoon, maybe like 12:30, approaching 1 o'clock. It is another hot summer day here in the Midwest, and again I am glistening like a Greek goddess because it's heckin' hot in this room, as you may have learned from previous videos if you are a returning visitor. But if you're new, I don't have central air in my home, and the window that I have in this room that is to my right does not produce any kind of cross breeze whatsoever. But oddly enough, the main bedroom that is in front of me or behind you does. So it is very weird. I've been tempted several times now, because that room also has a ceiling fan, to shoot in there more often, but it is a common area. My partner would come and go, so it kind of creates more of like a special arrangement for me to actually be able to film in my bedroom, though I think it has better lighting and it's just a nice environment. But this room has my kitties, so here we are. So as the thumbnail and the video title suggest, we are continuing to work on my brother's, fiance's, would-be holiday sock, if I get it done in time, formerly birthday sock. So we'll get right into it. Topics today, if you're new here, they aren't they're very random. I don't have any kind of agenda to have a discussion with you. It's just to have a little bit of noise going on in the background while you knit as well. So it's kind of like a knitting club almost, or a knitting group, if you do like to participate in those. I know I really enjoyed it at my job. So if you're new, or you haven't been here at the point where I had explained it before, but it seems like eons ago, but way back when at my job there was a knitting group, and before I started it was pretty lively, and then when I started working there, I wasn't a knitter yet. I've been knitting for 2 years now, and I wasn't a knitter at that point, and I saw some folks knitting just here and there, nothing major, just a couple crafters out on lunch, and I was like, oh. And finally when I came around to I wanted to knit for I think at that point about 5 years, I was thinking it would have been nice to know. And with my work schedule at the time, I was in grad school, working full-time, going to school part-time. Before that I had a weekend job as well as my full-time job, so I was just a busy bee, and I didn't really have any extra, quote-unquote, extra time to devote to any hobbies, because I'd come home and I'd go to bed or do my work, do my classwork, do chores, and then that would be pretty much it. But I finally got around to it because I crafted in other ways for like gifts and things, and because I was a member of Joanne's like mailing list, they sent me a coupon in the mail, as they often do, and I was like, oh, why not just make this my moment to go in, get some needles, get some yarn, and learn how to knit. And so YouTube really helped me out. I learned how to knit by watching videos, and learning techniques, of course, by watching videos. So it really helped me get going, and finally I was able to do my first project which was a scarf, and then my project after that, which was another scarf, and then another scarf, and then finally I was like, okay, I can do some hats. So then I did some hats, and worked on my really big project, which was the Knit Ahead for the Holiday series, which is a playlist here. So if you go to my channel page, you can watch every episode of my journey to get last year's holiday gifts done as a semi-new knitter, at least for such a big feat to have so many gifts done and ready to mail off in time. I'm getting a super late start this year because if you noticed last year when I started my channel, it was in May and I was already working on holiday gifts, and here it is July and I'm barely squeaking through a sock at this point. But I pretty much am just going to be knitting socks for holiday this year because I just haven't had a lot of projects that I wanted to knit for other people, and because I've been knitting gifts the whole time, I kind of just hadn't had a lot of time to focus on projects for me. Hence the Jolie Mimi cardigan that I've been working on for a while now. That's actually downstairs. I finally was like, okay, let me bring this downstairs and make this like my work from my computer desk project or work on the couch project, and retire some of the other ones now that some things are finished. But the point of this story was just to say that the purpose of the channel being the knitting club, and that when I started knitting at my job, I was clued in that, or not knitting at my job, but like during my lunch break, I would knit in the staff lounge, and somebody come in and like, oh, you knit? I'm like, well, kind of, sort of. And they're like, oh, there used to be a knitting group here. And one of my coworkers who actually gifted me, I mentioned her quite a few times on my channel, but one of my really good friends and coworkers gifted me a ton of yarn that she was like destashing, and she gave me quite a few pattern books. And if we visit the Perusing Pattern Books playlist, I'm pointing but I'm not linking to the playlist, but if you go to my channel, my main channel page, there's a playlist called Perusing Pattern Books, and we go over some of them that she gave me. She gave me some general reading as well that's knitting related, and super grateful to her to kind of get me started on my first collection of yarn that I don't have a real project for, but it's cool, so I'm using it. I'm starting to bust through it now with, what am I doing? Oh yes. I keep forgetting because I'm talking to you guys and I'm not paying attention to what each stitch marker means, and so once I finish the 2 little gold rings, then I just knit to the end, and then I start over and pattern across the top of the foot. And it's just a 3x1 rib if you are not familiar with this one. Description box does have links to the pattern. I'll also shout out that next month already, it's a month away, we're gonna have a knit along. Our main project will be highlighting the Knit the Family pattern that is by Niche Designs. So check out the link to the pattern below. It is not a free pattern, but it's not super, well, relatively speaking, it's not super expensive. It's under $5. So if you can afford US $5 or not, and you want to maybe squirrel away some change, then I would say if you want to participate, please do. Beginning in August, so whatever the first of the month is, there should be a video. Knock on wood, there should be. Wood, any wood. I have no wood composite here, otherwise I would knock on it. But yeah, so August will be when we start on that. So if you'd like to join our group project, please do. And when I say group, I mean whoever wants to participate. You're not obligated, but those videos will be primarily just working on that project with you guys. So yes, this is like a virtual knitting group because now that I've been working from home since mid-March, I have not been able to knit with my fellow knitters at work. And even before that, we kind of just got super busy. I know my job really revved up and my lunches were kind of sporadic as far as when I could actually take a lunch. So I wasn't able to be very consistent with announcing that the knitting was available. I mean, it's not like I had to do it, but I kind of revived it briefly. And every Friday we would meet as a group and work on our projects. But as I mentioned before, like, people got busy, not everyone's schedules synced up, so it wasn't always a guarantee that I would have folks to knit with. Often I was the only one. And it was kind of sad because, like, when I revived it, the very first maybe 2 weeks I brought cookies to have like a fun little snack for everyone who came. So that was like, oh, you brought cookies. I was like, I did, but nobody's here to eat them with me. Oh. My stitch marker fell off. Well, more like flew off of my needle, and it's so tiny it's hard to scoop it. There we go. Yay. Alright. So, what are we up to? We're knitting in our pattern now. Woo-woo-woo. So yes, knitting groups. Let me know in the comments if you, I hope you are practicing social distancing measures to be safe and healthy and are not meeting with groups of people. And if you are, I hope that you are very far apart and you have your mask on outdoors somewhere where there's good circulating air so there's not particles floating around. But if you are an active member of a knitting group, let me know. If you used to be before the pandemic hit, let me know. Or if you haven't been and wanted to, or for whatever reason are not, let me know as well. I'd love to know what everybody else has been doing or continues to do with or without the current situation. I hope maybe one day I can have another in-person one with coworkers, you know, when things are safe or safer. Well, not actually, I wouldn't say safer because I'd just say safe, baseline safe, because nothing's safe right now. So I can't say there's anything safer because there's nothing safe to compare it to being more safe. Anyway, yes, knit in person, because as much as I love to knit with you guys, it is nice to have that back and forth. And everyone's probably in a different time zone, because maybe I could, I don't know, I'm like, should I try to do a live? But then if you're chatting, I don't know how to set, I will research that. That'll be my goal for today. After I finish with you guys, I'll have my coffee, because I didn't this morning, and I've found out the hard way that was probably a bad idea. Okay, so what I've learned, because I love watching videos here in this platform. It's great. There's something for everybody, honestly. I mean, there's stuff for us knitters. I love crafting ones. I love commentary ones. My favorite, well, I love cat ones, of course, like pets, but not breeder channels, not channels that specifically kind of advertise their animals or put animals in a bad situation for likes and views, like just your average pet, like pets, foster channels where people actually are doing good. not the fake ones, because there are some people out there who are maliciously using animals to gain notoriety, but news, people from different walks of life and their perspectives. There are a lot of people in the LGBTQIA plus community that I like. People who talk about mental illness, people who talk about fitness, the beauty channels, not the drama that's happening, but like smaller ones I really like, and just a little of everything. So it's really nice to have so many things here that you can watch that kind of speak to you or just interesting. I've been really into watching a lot of channels that are about historical events and just different time periods. Like there's this this channel called Absolute History or Absolutely History or something like that, and basically they've been uploading some series from the BBC network from a couple years ago about, like, there's one I watched the other day that was what was it? It was like deadly things in the Victorian house, or deadly things in the Tudor house, and deadly things in the post-World War II house. And I know it's just like all this death stuff, but it was crazy. It's so fascinating. And I believe I mentioned that in a video last week where I was like, how things weren't regulated, or how, yeah, it was last week, because I was talking about the radium in the Victorian house from the wallpaper. And it's just like, how? But, you know, that stuff's so cool. I watched one from the same channel about what a pharmacy was like in the, was it Victorian? It was one of, I don't know, I don't know my eras, but it was an era where there was a lot of weird stuff going on, and some experimental medicine and things, and it was just fascinating to see like what people would be up to, what kinds of there were like these pills that were like a cure-all, and it was really just like sugar and a laxative and something to make you feel hot or something, like to feel like it's working. It was just like all kinds of stuff, and I was like, this is so interesting. There's this one YouTuber, Dr. Katz, who her channel's called Reading the Past. I really like her content, just so fascinating. But another one I really like is this big channel called Psyche Truth, and they have different subjects of content, a lot of yoga stuff, fitness, but they also have like massage videos where they go over massage techniques and different ways to do massage. And I'm one of those people like where I watch somebody else having something good happen to them and it makes me feel good. Like watching somebody get a back rub, I'm just like, oh, I could imagine how good that feels, and that makes me feel really relaxed. So those are nice to watch when I'm trying to wind down for bed or something, or just like feel kind of stressed out and want to have like a good moment of relaxation. I'll watch some of those. I watch cooking ones. Those are fun because I like to bake. Not right now because it's too hot. I have been bad, and I've been just eating anything that doesn't require a lot of cooking time because I don't want to be in the kitchen with the stove on or the oven on. So I'm just like, can I just eat some crackers? Can I have you know, a TV dinner, or can I eat this salad or have some cheese or something and just like snack a little bit so I don't have to go full on cooking right now. Sandwiches, just don't want to be in the kitchen. So usually summertime is not my fun time for being a avid, well, not avid, but like a cook a baker because it's just too hot. I don't want to be in there with everything running and heating me up. But yes, love the cooking ones too. Those are fun. But yes, awesome platform. Love that I can, if I do my research, could be able to stream. But as I mentioned, you know, being here, recording, uploading, it doesn't allow for a lot of spontaneous conversation. Like, I have, you know, verbal diarrhea where I'm just like spewing out a bunch of nonsensical things. It's just like whatever comes to mind. Sometimes I'm on a well, most of the time I'm on a tangent. If you've been here long enough, you know there's almost never a straight path to any story. Sometimes I get on such a tangent that I don't even get back on the main course, which is where I was just now for a good 10 minutes. But yes, having that in-person knitting group is really nice. Just because you can go back and forth with each other, talking about things, you know, you have different prompts, leads you to different directions, but you have other people kind of helping that story along. Whereas knitting and recording and uploading, I have like me just talking to a unresponsive person until you see the video. So I have to wait a while till I get any input. So it's like, meh, that part's not so great. But I do like that I have this record of all the progress I've made, and you do too, because you can remember probably what video you were watching when you finished something, or just those weird little questions that I like to ask you guys just to get to know you better and maybe get some inspiration and some cool new ideas, and we just go back and forth. So yes, that is the pros and the cons, I guess. The very short list of it is having something that's not live at the moment, where we're knitting together and talking with each other back and forth and just having, you know, a general healthy conversation instead of me just like, here are things happening, let me know in the comments what you think, and then, you know, afterward I get your response and then I can respond to you then instead of just happening right now. But we've just done a couple rows here, or rounds. We're still not very far, but we're almost to the part. I think if we're like, I mean, there's a official measurement. It's like some inches. I think it's like 6 from the heel, so about here. And then I can start shaping the toe, because she wears a size 9, but I think she's shorter than me, so some people just have big feet, and I'm like, I wear an 8. I wear size US 8, which I think is a European 37, 36, something like that. And I think it's a UK size 6, I want to say, because I have some Doc Martens that are UK, and I want to say they're a size 6. But anywho, thank you so much for sitting with me this glorious Friday afternoon, but it'll be Monday when you see this, because I upload each video in order of filming, so it says Friday, but you'll see this Monday. I hope you have a good Monday. And let me know in the comments again about your knitting group situation. Do you have a knitting group? Do you have like a Zoom meeting group? Like, how is your knitting group? No. That's too risky. I was like, Zoom knitting group? But I would need an official Paws and Pearls email address to set that up if I wanted to make arrangements with you guys. And that's a little bit too advanced for me at this point. Not that I'm technically ignorant, but some things are just too risky. Everything's a risk. Anywho, craziness, randomness makes no sense, but we are here Thank you so much if you do enjoy this content. Thank you for tuning in once more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.